Exactly. Okay, guys, let's continue where we left off last time. I did want to highlight that starting next week, we'll be going through the halachos of Hanukkah. Anything you need to know, some of the backgrounds of Hanukkah, just for one very simple reason. The better prepared you are for Hanukkah, the more you'll get out of Hanukkah. We will have also an educational schedule posted everywhere that will have different classes that will all be using your time to, educate everybody on Hanukkah. We'll have a Yom Iu next week on Thursday, so you guys hopefully will be very well prepared to maximize this very meaningful Yom Tov and have the best possible experience.
And afterwards we'll continue with Kasher.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to put this on hold. All halacha classes will be doing that. Everyone's going to put their current curriculum on hold and
the Gemara also,
do over Hanukkah. Regarding the Gemara, Hanukkah is, it's Sunday, yesterday, in 2 weeks. Okay? So next week we'll have 1 week that will be preparing for Hanukkah, and then after Shabbos, Sunday already, we'll have Hanukkah, which is really great. We're going to have a great schedule here, a lot of things going on. We're going to have a Hanukkah break also, a couple of days off. So that's really nice.
Just like one added day to the weekend, I think, right? It's Thursday.
Pardon?
One added day to the weekend. The break.
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
Thursday and Sunday is off.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So nice.
Great. Okay. So we spoke a lot about kashering utensils. We got down to the practical halacha of things, and we spoke mainly about how to do hagalah. Hagalah was the method used for liquid heat. If you use a pot and you cook something in it, and that's called liquid heat, then you kasher it with hagalah. We've spoken it out, and of course, if you have any clarification questions, feel free to ask. But other than that, I think we could just move on to the next
I
point.
actually used your learnings yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna, whatever. Basically, I'm in an Airbnb. Like my apartment used to be an Airbnb, so it's full of cutlery and stuff. And we were all out of plastic forks. We used plastic forks and stuff. So I was like, oh wait, you can technically use metal, but I was like, it's hot, so you can't use metal.
Great, excellent.
But it was like
perfect, amazing, great. I'm so happy to hear. So thank you for sharing that. We have libun. Libun is the other method of kashering. That's what we use when we use a utensil for dry heat, like a barbecue grate or an oven.
If you have sink that's used for meat.
A sink?
Yeah. And you put dairy in it, not hot, cold.
That's fine.
That's fine. And then
I wouldn't ideally do that, but if it happens, you just clean it off.
And then you just wash it off, and that's it.
That's it. Exactly.
And then you can use it for meat.
Well, the sink you can use for meat.
Yeah.
The sink you use for meat, and the utensil you can use for dairy. Absolutely.
No, I'm not saying a utensil. Let's say you have a sink that's for meat.
Yeah.
You pour it in something that's cold.
You poured a cup of milk in there, and it happens often. My children sometimes, when they finish their cereal, they have milk left in their bowl. Especially this is my 4-year-old. He tries to be so responsible to take his own cereal bowl back to the kitchen, and then it's very cute. It's gorgeous. It's adorable. He puts it in the meaty sink, pours it straight into the meaty sink, the rest of the milk, and that's fine. You just have to clean it well. It's cold. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Make sure it's cleaned well though. Okay. Great. Okay, in any case, so speaking about libun. So libun is the kashering method that we use for utensils that absorb food through dry heat. These utensils are kasher through a process known as libun chomor, which involves applying fire until the metal becomes red hot, emits sparks or peels. That's how the Gemara describes it. Now, that means that the way it works is different than hagalah. Hagalah is basically the heat makes any food particles that were there absorbed, automatically get released. Libun is a more aggressive way of getting rid of it. Libun literally is burning it away. It's burning it away. And because of that, it needs to get to certain temperatures that will get the metal to look literally red hot, or it will peel or emit sparks. Now the thing is, due to the way nowadays things are produced, metal production, it's kind of hard to see any of that happening. Old-fashioned metal maybe was less condensed, had a different way it was produced, and therefore you would definitely see red hot, or you would getting red hot, or it would emit sparks, or it would peel. Now that doesn't happen nowadays, and therefore
Very much
Rebelsky
happens.
to certain things, not to everything. It depends on the utensil.
Like what?
Meaning, if we would give you a guideline that you haven't koshered your utensil until your metal is seen red hot. So that may happen to certain utensils, but other utensils may never get red hot or would require higher temperatures. It depends on the production of the utensils.
It depends on the metal. It doesn't really depend on the production.
The way the metal has been produced
Not necessarily.
or has been finished.
Metal will get red hot, even with a lighter sometimes. Metal can get red hot. It's not that big a deal to get metal red hot.
Do you know? Probably, I don't know. I never tested it out, but that's what they say. That's
What do you
interesting.
mean? Due to what production? What is the science behind
It could be finished in a certain way. Nowadays, metal is more condensed the way it's made. It's
forged metal versus cast
the
metal?
quality of the metal
Yeah,
is
but that doesn't
different.
matter. Red hot is just the temperature that the metal gets to. The quality doesn't matter when that's
We
just,
can check it out.
they're running out. It's science. I don't understand.
But I'm saying red hot. These are the temperatures according to. That's my next point. Is Robelski says gets up to about I would say
1,500 degrees.
800-900 Fahrenheit.
Yes.
450 degrees Celsius, 480 exactly, 480 degrees Celsius. So we can also try it out if you would like. Just be
Yeah,
careful.
that's
It's not going to be a
too,
fire hazard. In any case, so once you have gotten to that temperature of 480 degrees Celsius or 900 Fahrenheit, which is very hard to get to, then your utensil is kosher. Okay? So how do we do that? Number one, you remove any remaining food particles. It does not have to be cleaned thoroughly. This is very important. On one hand, libun chamor is more complicated because it's working with tremendous heats, very intense heats and everything. On the other hand, it's easier that you can skip some of the steps that you need to take by hagalah. By hagalah, we spoke out you need to clean it thoroughly. It needs to be cleaned very well. And we also spoke out the second step. Gotta wait 24 hours. We spoke out why. For libun, that is not required. By libun, you just need to, like any big food pieces have to be removed. Any food piece have to be removed, but it does not have to be cleaned thoroughly. You don't need to wait 24-hour period either. And therefore, in theory, if someone who used a barbecue grate with non-kosher meat, you can go, in theory, an hour later or any time later after that, and you can kasher that. Make sure that all the food part pieces are gone, and apply libun chamor. You don't need to wait 24 hours. Just make sure that the food pieces are off, but it does not have to be cleaned thoroughly. Okay? That is how you do libun. Now, and the practical side of things, so how do you apply those heats? Either you have a blowtorch. Now, you really have to know how to use a blowtorch. I wouldn't advise you to use it unless you really know how to use it, because it can, first of all, cause injury and fire hazard, and it can also ruin your appliances tremendously. So just be careful with that before you use that. What I could tell you is that if you have an oven that has a self-clean setting, a self-clean setting generally means that your oven will get to those intense temperatures of 800-900 Fahrenheit. And therefore, you can, in theory, put any utensil that requires koshering in your self-clean oven and turn on a self-clean setting, and then you're done. Now, that would definitely be the easiest way of doing things because you don't need to actually wait 24 hours for the utensil you spoke out. You don't need to clean it thoroughly. Just make sure there's no food left on it. And stick it in your self-clean oven, turn on the self-clean setting, and you're good to use that. That's fine. Now, that also, by the way, is applicable for the oven itself. Let's just speak for a moment about the oven, and after that, we'll also go through each different appliance in the kitchen that we have. An oven that has been used for non-kosher to kosher. Why am I speaking out non-kosher to kosher? Because koshering an oven from dairy to meat or vice versa is more lenient and has therefore different rules and regulations. Okay, but we're now speaking about koshering an oven from non-kosher to kosher. How do you do that? Well, the answer is the only way to kosher that is, since an oven is one example of a utensil or an appliance used with dry heat, the only way to do it is, as we mentioned before, is with libun chamor. Now that is a little complicated because if your oven has a self-clean setting, then you're good to go. Just turn on the oven on a self-clean setting, make sure there is no food left inside, and you can even put any other utensils in and just kosher it. Turn on the self-clean setting, you're good to go. But many ovens don't have a self-clean setting. Here, most ovens don't have a self-clean setting. In Europe, I haven't seen it much actually. Self-clean settings.
Never
Do
seen
you
it.
know about this? My parents never had a self-clean setting oven. South Africa.
It's a new concept.
It's a new. In America, I think they have that a bit more. You know about this?
Yeah, all the ovens have stuff.
So, if you have a self-clean setting, you're good to go. If you don't have that, then you have a bit of a problem because it's hard to apply libun because the temperature that your oven will get to is generally about 250 degrees Celsius, 400 or 500 Fahrenheit. That's it. That's not going to be enough to achieve the libun chomer level. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to get a blowtorch and actually kasher your oven. You can do that, but you'll have to know how to do that. Sometimes guys are stuck. They can actually get some of the guys at Chabad and they'll do it for you. That sometimes is an option, and they're very, good at helping with that.
Because you're not like getting the item that hot.
Pardon?
I've seen them do it before. They kind of just go over it with a blowtorch. They don't necessarily get the item to that degree.
No, I have never seen Chabad doing it. Have you? You have seen
I've
it
seen them do it
before?
on countertops. They just kind of pass over the countertop.
Well, you can't blow to a on oven once.
What if I want to?
You have to do it slowly.
As long
Like
as
that.
each like every single spot is being on.
Yeah, you have to go through the whole surface, go slowly with the blowtorch over it, making sure that each part of it gets that heat. I don't know. That's interesting. You're saying to me that they don't get it to that heat.
Yeah,
Well,
I've
heat's-
seen them do it on like a marble countertop or
That's
something.
interesting.
They kind of just pass over it.
A marble countertop, though, does not require libun, by the way.
I know.
No. The way we kasher a countertop is with hagalah, by the way. You can do libun, but let me explain that. There's many details to speak about here. If you want to do libun, you can do that. What I want to point out is if you have an item that requires hagalah, you can also apply libun. Libun will also kasher it.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
Yeah, we mentioned this, and therefore sometimes it helps if you don't want to have the 24-hour waiting period, so you can do libun straight away on any utensil. Libun could be applied on any utensil. Okay, so that's important. This libun that we spoke about is called libun chomer. Okay, chomer. What does chomer mean in Hebrew? Stringent. The stringent type of libun. Okay, there is another type of libun called libun kal. That is the opposite of stringent, the more lenient way of doing libun. Libun kal. So that is used in different circumstances. Generally, there's one case we can speak about, and that is when you have an oven that you're trying to make kosher or to kasher from meat to dairy or vice versa. Okay, when we speak about the halachos of basar, b'chalav, meat and dairy, and all those halachos, we'll still go into that a bit more. But if you have an oven that's dairy, and you want to be able to, you baked a cheesecake in that oven yesterday, and now you want to be able to use that for meat, so then you can use the concept of libun kal. Okay, libun kal is typically with the oven on a highest temperature, 450 degrees, 550 degrees Fahrenheit, 250 degrees Celsius, something like that, and that will help. However, to be able to apply libun kal, one has to go through the same steps as libun, as hagalah, and therefore, if you want to do that, if you want to make your oven from dairy to meat or vice versa, you really got to clean it well. You got to wait 24 hours, then turn on your oven for an hour on the max temperature, and then you can use it. Okay? So that is how you can transfer an oven from being dairy to meaty or vice versa. Okay? Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Well, if a oven is not kosher, and let's say it doesn't have the self-cleaning stuff,
And you don't have a blowtorch.
and I don't have a blowtorch,
So then,
how I can bake there something?
that's a problem. So the only way to use an oven, in that case,
Yeah,
is to double wrap your food.
double whip.
Yeah. Double wrapping is good for heating up food, also maybe baking certain types of food, but double wrapping doesn't help for anything. I mean, I can't imagine baking a pizza when it's double
well,
wrapped.
let's say meat, maybe.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Or
keep
like-
in mind, it's going to take you significantly longer because it's double wrapped.
Yeah.
But, just keep that in mind. If you want to eat something, that you need a lot more time to prepare than having it in your oven when
Or
it's
just
double
buy
wrapped.
a pot.
Buy a pot. You can do that.
Stove instead.
Yeah.
why would it take longer to
Use the
just
stove.
wrap?
Because it's just longer to get the heat in there. It's just Matthias.
If it's metal, it'll
And
go
cake.
in a second.
I'm talking out of experience.
My experience too.
Oh, that's interesting.
I do it all the time.
You double wrap food and it goes just as fast. Okay.
And cake.
You're double wrapping it in silver foil, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but
I
also
also double wrap it in
the
plastic.
silver foil has to heat
It
up.
won't get charred. It won't get charred.
It just takes
Let's see
longer.
how long silver foil takes to heat up. Put it over a flame. It'll heat up in seconds. It's the fastest
it's not a
conducting
flame,
thing.
it's
Cake.
In the oven, maybe.
Double whip
Conducts heat
cake.
in seconds.
You can do that.
Like everything should be double wrapped. Like,
Everything should be double wrapped. Well, the foil pan obviously consider one wrap for whatever side it is covering.
Okay.
So it needs one wrap on top and then one more wrap around it. It needs to be wrapped. Well, 2 wraps and then you're good to go. Okay? Great, guys. Okay, let's finish with the following point. Which materials are fit for kashering? So let's first go through hagalah and then go through libun. Your wooden spoon. Can you kasher that? What about your silicone spatula, whatever you call that? Could you kasher that? So I'll tell you what the halacha is. Metal can obviously be kashered. Glass cannot be kashered unless you're Sephardi, and then your glass does not require any kashering. Okay, that's what a Sephardi opinion is. Wood, your wooden spoon can be kashered.
what? Can you kasher?
With hagalah,
The boiling one.
the boiling one.
Obviously not the...
That's interesting. If you have a non-kosher wooden spoon, well, obviously wood is very porous and gets, really food sticks to it, So make sure it's very clean and go through the process of hagalah, like cleaning it with 24 hours and then doing hagalah. But it can be kosher in a wooden spoon, no problem. Earthenware and ceramic cannot be kashered. Okay?
Why?
Earthenware cannot be kashered at all. If you ever have like plates or flatware that is, china or anything, it cannot
It falls
be
into things that have a
kashered.
glaze.
Anything that has a glaze,
Anything that
yeah,
has a glaze.
cannot be kashered. I have my grandparents, they weren't from, and after they passed away, so my mother very much wanted to use their china, which is, a very beautiful set it was, and there was just no way of using it. No way, it's just, not kosher. That's
So
what it is.
once it became treif.
That's it.
Can you put another glaze on it?
Oh, that's a really interesting idea. Can you put another glaze on it? I don't know. I mean, if it's possible, first of all, I don't really know how that works, but if you were to put another glaze over it and nothing can get expelled through, I mean, the theory is if nothing can be expelled from the bottom layer through the new layer, then I think the answer is yes, because that's the whole issue, that it gets expelled. But I'm not sure if that is the case, and if we can also determine that also. But I mean, if that will be the case, then the answer is yes.
Pretty interesting though. It's like, maybe why can't you do an extreme hagalah, like refire it? You know how
More
they fire
expensive.
clay?
Clay.
But it's very
They put it in an oven now.
Yeah, they fire it.
Okay.
And it goes to insane temperature. Don't quote me. I think it's like 4,000 degrees or something.
I don't know. You guys ever beat to J clay?
No,
Okay.
but they fire it at a really high temperature. Like I feel like why wouldn't that make it kosher? No.
The problem is the Gemara explains that it's unclear that these utensils made out of earthenware, they do expel when you apply heat some of the food particles, but it's unclear how much it expels. I think that's the problem the Gemara explains. It doesn't expel everything, whereas metal, it's very simple. Whatever goes in, goes out. Wood, whatever goes in, goes out.
Expanding.
And here, it's like certain bits and pieces stay behind, and therefore, it's very hard to make, you can't really kasher it. Basically, that's really what's going on. Okay, guys, stone can be kashered, and that's what we do when you have a marble countertop. You can kasher that, we can still go through how that works. Plastic, silicone, Teflon coated frying pans, if people use those, cannot be kashered either, okay? If you have a Teflon coated pan that became non-kosher, or it is a non-kosher one, you want to reuse it, cannot be kashered either, okay?
Yeah.
So let's leave it here for today.
One
They
one
already
question
do
about
go to
kashering.
Sorry, just
One question about kashering glass. You said it was really easy to kasher a microwave, but what if the microwave got glass on them?
If it's made out of glass,
Like the base of the thing's usually
Yeah, the
glass.
disc?
The disc.
that's fine. You say that's fine. Yeah. You can just put a cup in it. We'll go through it in our cooking
Okay.
classes. Okay, great.
Not